Good afternoon. I'm glad to greet you all again. Our next speaker is from the Republic of Korea, and he'll present the Seoul 2040 City Master Plan. This is a really unique project because city communities were involved in it, so it is a really huge participatory project. Let me introduce one of the developers of this master plan, Inhee Kim, Dr. Kim, who is a senior researcher of the Department of Urban Planning and Design Research of the Seoul Institute. His main research projects include master plans for Hongneung R&D biocluster, restructuring for urban planning systems in Seoul in 2018, and a study on the method of enhancing the affordable housing in Seoul, and a lot of others. And besides, Dr. Kim is a key researcher for Master Plan 2030, and also he's holding the same position for Master Plan of Seoul of 2040. So it's a great pleasure for me to introduce Dr. Kim. Dr. Kim, please start your presentation.
Okay, nice to meet you. It's great honor to present about Seoul Master Plan, and I'll present briefly about Seoul Master Plan. So 10 years ago, we began to make a Seoul Master Plan involved with the citizen participation process. It was, for us, the great challenge to change the planning structure. And last year, we began to revise to 2030, as it could be interesting to compare between 2030 and 2040. So let's get started. 2030 Seoul Master Plan is 20 years long-term comprehensive plan, and it is the highest, most powerful statutory plan in Seoul. As you see here, under the Seoul Master Plan, we have over 100 plans, and these all plans should coordinate with the Seoul Master Plan. Although the Seoul Master Plan is powerful, but when we began to make the Seoul Master Plan in 2008, 2009, it was a critical point for the Master Plan. It is useless. They had a nickname, Cabinet Plan. Nobody uses it because it's very complicated. You don't have any guideline which point you develop or not. And it is very hard to understand. So that's why beginning of the established the plan, we changed everything. The first one, that is the most important thing, we changed the participation process. Before, the plan was participated with 30 experts, but now the over 450 people participated in the planning, not only the professional, but also the citizens and districts and private investors. And the plan should be very easy and complex to understand for the citizens. So instead of 30 vision, we have only one vision and 5 issues. It's very simple and easy to change the structure. And that is the most important point. That is the full process of citizen participation process. It took 1 year long. And we didn't, at the time, we didn't have any experience about the citizen participation process. So 3 months long, we prepared how can we arrange the citizen participation process. And we recruit the citizens, and the citizen discussed, and citizen make a workshop themselves, and they write the proposal themselves. It was a first trial for the citizen, and the citizen gave the result to the city mayor. And the city mayor was surprised and was satisfied with the result of the proposal. It is really high quality. And since then, the mayor gave a press conference, and he announced we have the first time in our history the vision and issues from citizens. That is our vision in Seoul Metropolitan Government. So the feature of the citizen participation process the government and the professional gave all competence to the citizen, and the citizen decided themselves. That is our trial at the time. So that is the outcome from the citizen. What the citizen want is pleasant city for citizen with communication and consideration. Very simple and easy. And the citizen want people city with equality, healthcare, and welfare, and diversity, and cultural sharing city, etc. That is a very easy and simple keyword, what the citizen want. And then we, as professional, we try to translate such keyword to the strategic plan. That was the next steps. And we finished it, the strategic plan based on the citizens' request. And also we prepare the spatial structure. We changed all the spatial structure. We have only one city center, but now we have three centers: historical center, and global finance center, and global business center is Gangnam. And yellow point is a metropolitan region center, and all 10 center should prepare for the sustainable development and the job and etc. the global competitiveness. And now, during the participation process, we realize that the citizens want participate more and more. No more in Seoul Master Plan, they want more participate. So we decided to make a new plans called the neighborhood plans. The Seoul, with 10 million residents, Seoul consists of 116 small neighborhood units, as each neighborhood has about 80,000 residents. And we try to make a new plan in each neighborhood unit should establish neighborhood plans with the residents. So altogether, over 10,000 residents involved in neighborhood units plans, and that is small scale and public friendly issues. And so we have a two-layer of plans. Seoul Master Plan for global competitiveness and for whole cities, and the residents, they participated in small size, they are all community area. So that is the starting point for us, the foundation for decentralized urban planning system. That was the effect of 2030 Seoul Master Plan. An implication of Seoul Master Plan 2030, originally the Seoul Master Plan focused on the tangible and physical aspects, but the citizen participated in the plan, so citizens want intangible and social aspect. So the wider scope of our planning is realized. And second one, that's very important point, citizens began to interest to the so master plan, the function of watchdog, that is very basic condition for next plans. And finally, the Seoul Master Plan is no more cabinet plan. It's begun not only the government departments and districts governments and public and private investor use the Seoul Master Plan, because Seoul Master Plan involved the development guideline for city centers. That is the result. And in the 10 years, we have a questionnaire, and the livability of Seoul is increased from 70 to 73. And the people who live in Seoul is increased also 67% to 73%. All the quality of life in Seoul is increased. Yeah, not okay. And also we try to change the structure. We try to give a guideline for the urban development. That is very important point for the urban private developers and also the 25 districts. So we had, before we had only one center and 5 sub-centers, and we tried to change the sub-centers structure. We have 3 international centers, the red point, and we have 7 metropolitan centers and 12 regional centers. And each center, each core has their own function and their own land use and their own volume and FAR. And that means the private developer knows which point they can develop and they build and high rights, etc. That was the guideline for the developer. And this one is we had over 20 years long. We have a sensible theme because of the building heights. And in this time, in 2030, we, with the citizens together, we have decided, we made a guideline for the building heights. So according to land use, according to sort of center cities. So over 50 stories with a commercial area in sub-centers, and 40 stories and 35 stories. Each center, each land use, they can the highlights guideline according to land use in the city centers. This means we have the predictability and transparency for the private developers. That is the effect of 2030 master plan. So now, since last year, we revised the 2040 Seoul plan. What is changed? What is limitation? The contribution. We have our own systems and participation process involved, and the plan was realized in the field. That is the contributions. And the limitation, we try to combine between Seoul master plan, strategic plan, and department plan. The linkage should be more clearly. And because the plan was made by the citizen, the plan oriented short term, but the Seoul master plan is 20-year long-term plan. That's why we try to make more long-term oriented plan. That was our task for 2040s. So, and then we have a lot of opportunities and risks. For example, next pandemic, how can we prepare in climate crisis and etc. And the first one, we changed the civic participations. Before, we have only citizens, but now we have 10 times more citizens from diverse backgrounds, the people who live outside of Seoul and their vulnerable classes, for example, sexual minority and youth and disabled citizens can participate in this all the plan. And the citizen should propose a 20 years long-term visions, but they don't know which information. So we prepared in the last 3 years with the big data analysis and research and monitoring, etc. And with trending changes, we have a lot of information, and we have a survey, and we found out the critical issues of Seoul in the future. So with this information, the citizen and the professional discussed what would Seoul look like in 20 years. That took 3 months long. And then we have vision and issues, the vision sustainable and pleasant cities. And we find out 4 issues, and the 4 issues should be realized with a spatial plan. That is our structure. And also we try to develop the citizen participation process. Before, we have only one public participation process. But in 2040, we try to divide the roles between diverse participatory stakeholders, public, planning specialists, and government. Each stakeholder had their own roles. That is the improved structure from 2030. The last one, because of the pandemic, the next 20 years, the city, the urban spatial structure should be resilient. And what means resilient? It means the citizen should feel safe, and they can, or without problem, they can live and work and play. So that's why we have a 2 structure. We have a big mega city structure with city core centers. And also to improve the quality of life. We have over 300 subway stations, and each subway station, they have ability to build the development. So we have a new guideline for the subway stations. Around 250, 200 meter around. With this around, the private developer can here build more density and more heights. And we gave here change to land use change. We gave incentive if the private developer build here new buildings. Then the 50% of plan is gain. They can back to the citizens with share office, logistic hub, and startup incubator, and etc. All these function should contained in within these subway stations. So we try to make a more self-sufficiency within the local communities. That is our resilient urban spatial structure in the next 20 years. And the last one, the 2040 Seoul Master Plan consists of visions. And to realize the vision, we have 5 issues: strategic plan, an executive plan for department plans. And the last one, the spatial plan, this is guideline, improve the guideline for the private sector or for districts with land use, urban management, and regional plans. And we are now in process, about 80% is finished. And until next year, we try to improve the contents, and we try to make a workshop with the citizens, and we have planned, and next year, the plan was finished. Yeah, thank you much for hearing, and that was my presentation. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. I actually would like to ask you at first, what is your feeling right now of planning? Because, you know, planning of big cities was always dependent on prognostics, on kind of, you know, futurology, what is going to happen. The world was quite stable a year ago. Now it's not that stable. How can we plan cities in these new circumstances?
Yeah, it's a very difficult questions. In last year, it's very stable situation, and we have a process, and we finished all the structure. And at the beginning of this year, we have a new pandemic. We cannot make a workshop with the citizens. An online workshop is limited, and this is very difficult. And also the pandemic is new challenges. And that's why originally the plan should be finished in end of this year. So, but because of the new circumstance, we make the plan 1 year long and next year with. So we need a time to prepare to deal with the pandemic system, and also we try to discuss with the citizens. So we need a 1 year long. So 1 year long is very uncertain situation, circumstance, and we don't know how we get this process. But we are sure if we the next less experiences, we can find out with the citizens and with a professional in the next 6 months, and then I hope we have a good conclusion in the end of next year.
It's interesting that so you are relying quite a lot on the understanding of their neighborhoods, of the citizens. Do you think that citizens right now can have some kind of an answer to the challenges that pandemic raised?
Yeah, I don't know, but we have experience in the next 2030. We not only the professional but also the Seoul Metropolitan government underestimated the quality of citizens. But we realize that the quality of citizens and ability of citizens is more than, sometimes more than professional. So that's why we all together make a 2030 master plan. So in this time, of course, the opinion of a citizen cannot the perfect solution, but they can give us advice, and also the professional have their own abilities. So we try to combine this circumstance. We with citizens together. We try to find a new strategic plan, and in terms of the process, 4 or 5 times, if we have temporary solutions, and we give the feedback from the citizens groups, and we try to change everything. So the collective
Intelligence.
intelligence, yeah, that could be functional. So I think that could be help for us.
Um, uh, I think that this system, one of the most important and interesting question is how professionals deal with citizens. So what is the responsibility of professionals and what is the responsibility of citizens in this process? So in Moscow, we are also working quite hard on the public hearings, on the participatory things, and there are several projects that are developing exactly like this. But one of the questions is that sometimes people, when they propose something, they propose either very abstract things. You know, for example, I want to feel happy, or I want to feel free here, or they just use some. You know, I want a children playground like in the other neighborhood. So how can we deal with this? Can we really interpret somehow their very general ideas, but also how can we innovate and do something new and experiment if citizens are mostly talking about examples that they already saw?
Maybe it depends on the scale of planning. And for example, in Seoul Master Plan, it's a big, large scale plan for 10 million mega cities. But in 2030, we try to give all competence to the citizen. At that time, the citizen participation is the goal itself from the Seoul Master Plan. So citizen can decide, citizen can suggest us everything, and the specialists help them, and specialists try to find out the concrete strategic plans. And of course, the citizen suggests a very abstract issues, happiness and communities and equality, etc. But we try to communicate with the citizen group more and more concrete, and then we try to translate this one to concrete. But it is limited, yeah, and that's why urban master plan, in labeling urban master plan, the citizen can decide it, vision and issues. That's it. And the citizen can also feedback if the specialist translate the planning, strategic plan, whether it is good for them or not. They can give us the feedback. That is role in master plan. And in the community level, in concrete level, that's why we created new level of plan, the very detailed plan. So 116 community plan. It contains each community units has about 80,000 residents. And this level, you can find really concrete and visible issues and solutions. The residents participated in the here, and they can discuss concrete project for their own field. In this community level, they can discuss, and they can find a solution in concrete issues.
Do I understand this right, that right now planners are becoming like kind of a new profession? They are more moderators of this dialogue than professional planners, right? So they're doing it themselves, planners, not some other specially prepared moderators or sociologists, but the planners are doing that, right?
Yeah, but another point, in 2030, as I mentioned, we gave all competence to the citizens. We are all the professional. We are all the moderator. But we find out who is the user of Seoul Master Plan. I think regarding to the master plan, the user of master plan is not the citizen themselves. User is the private investor or department or if Seoul has 25 districts, the government servant in department, they use the plan. But in 2030, we didn't hear from them. So in this time, in 2040, the citizens request is very important, but more important thing is to hear from the department. So, so that's why before we began to establish the plan, we visited all 25 districts and we make a pre-hearings process from the department. Then, in the other process, we have issues and we have requests. Then we can, with this information, we can find out the concrete guideline for the urban development. That is the real field for specialists. So I mean, the professional, of course, should have a role for the moderator, but also they should give a practical and pragmatical solution for the urban development. So I think the role of a professional is increased, not only professional but also the moderator. So that is the experience of my last 10 years. Yeah.
Dr. Kim, and also, as I understand, right now citizens are mostly talking about their own neighborhoods, but you also said that there are 25 districts, but there is also Seoul itself. So do they participate in discussing of the strategy of the Seoul, like of the whole city? How do they see it? Is it the eco-city? Is it a city of innovations? Is it a technological city, and so on and so forth?
Yeah, every issues and technology and smart cities and global competitiveness and eco and sustainable and also inclusive cities all together come from the citizens, because we gave all information for the citizens, the key issues in the next 20 years. And the citizens discussed and discussed and discussed for 3 months long, and they find out 6 visions, and the 6 visions was decided by the whole citizens in 10 million. The citizen decided the pleasant and sustainable cities. That is the first priority for the citizen. That's why we decided this present, and of course we have another keyword, but the keyword is included in strategic plan.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kim. We have a lot to learn from your work, and we will definitely follow up on this discussion and keep looking at what is happening to Seoul. And we really hope to host you here next year for the Urban Forum and to show you what is going on here in Moscow. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
And bye-bye.
I hope also we have next year we have a more concrete result, and maybe we can share with this information.
That would be wonderful.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.